gonna do it. I'm gonna do it.
Go ahead.
Hello everyone, welcome to the video. I am in bed right now. I have 3 blankets on top of me and a cold window next to me. I have some goldfish next to me on the other side. And I'm
This
in
is not
bed.
how we do our intros, like even a little bit.
I don't know what you're talking about. This is how I do in every intro.
Not
I feel
welcome to
like I've
Telly
done every
Talk.
single intro for the past like 6 episodes.
I'm Tyler. I'm eating some popcorn sitting in a gamer chair at my desk with a candle to my left.
This is the start. We're now in February. This is the start of a new movie month. This movie month of February was supposed to be movies that were just bad, but some of the movies that we're watching this month aren't necessarily bad. One of them's like really good.
Which
2 of
one?
them are really bad. This one I thought is bad, but they're kind of just like movies that make me uncomfortable. So I guess this is uncomfortable movie month
Welcome
of
to
February.
Uncomfortable Movie Month of February. Valentine's
We'll
Day?
be
No.
watching 4 movies.
Uncomfortable movies. Today we're talking about the widely discussed movie Tusk. When did Tusk come out?
2014.
Wow. I feel like it's new. I feel like people have talked about it a lot recently for some reason.
I thought it came out in like the 80s.
I thought it came out last year. Wow, we have really like everyone just been talking about it recently. Apparently,
Really?
my freshman year of college, so like 2 years ago, my partner's roommate watched it like on a loop, like was just really into
Ew.
it, and so I was like,
I
oh yeah,
cannot watch this more than once.
it
It's
probably
just
came out
really
in like
bad.
2022. Okay, are you saying it's a bad movie, or are you saying it makes you uncomfortable?
Bad. It's bad.
Because I think it's a good movie. It's just uncomfortable.
It's bad.
Why do you say that?
Because it's just shot so bad.
Up until
And the sets are bad.
up until as someone who does not do film, I want you to know that it doesn't look like it's shot bad or the sets are bad. Like, it looks normal.
It looks so bad.
It looks normal for someone who is not a film major, and I just want you to know that because you see films through your film major lens. Yeah.
But like, it looks like we could have made it.
I really liked how it was shot up until the point where his legs got cut off. Like, up until that point, I was like, wow, these colors and the warm lighting and like the greens and the rich, like, it was so good. I was like, wow, this is really beautiful. I also really like the audio in this movie. Like, the audio was like crisp. The audio felt good. I liked it.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Whoever was following this shit, they did perfect. I love you, whoever followed. So, I have heard so many bad things about this movie. Not like that the movie's bad, but that like it's really gross and horrible and uncomfortable to watch. So I was like really over like expecting it, and it wasn't as bad as like people have said it was. Like, I thought it was going to be like the most horrible body horror of my life. But like I was fine.
Oh yeah, I thought it was gonna be more gory.
I
And
agree.
it was 0 gore.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh.
it was fine. Also, the thing I didn't like about it is the movie felt fast, but I thought it was because I was intoxicated, but like I thought it was going to be a longer movie. How long is the runtime? Because it just felt really short to me.
45.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because I feel like this should have been like a 2-hour movie. Like, the pacing felt like much more condensed. Like, it felt that the plot progressed much faster than I expected, and it was weird. The pacing was weird.
I agree, and I thought there was gonna be more of a process.
I agree.
And just more going on.
Like,
with
the process was
him
really
becoming a
fast. It was just
walrus.
like, no legs, boom, walrus.
Yeah, and then he kind of just like didn't really do anything with him. And I'm like, well, why'd you make him into a walrus?
He made him
to
into
become your friend, but like,
He made him into a walrus
you
to
didn't do
fight him.
anything with him.
Like, he wanted to be fought and defeated by a walrus is his goal.
But I thought he made him because he wanted a friend because the walrus he
No,
had
he
like
felt
saved his
bad.
life.
He felt bad about killing his friend, so then he wanted like the walrus to be able to like get revenge on him, basically.
I thought it was gonna be a sexual thing, and
Me
then the
too, because
weird
they did the
detective
whole
guy
thing with the
was like,
dick. Like, we saw the walrus dick, so I assumed
yeah,
he had the walrus dick, and I was like, oh my god, they're gonna fuck, and then they didn't. I was disappointed.
okay. Yeah, I also was like, cause he was like saying something that was alluding to like a reveal, and I was like, he's gonna give him a fat ass walrus dick, and then it never happened.
Due to my intoxication, my notes for this movie are really weird. I do want to tell a story about the main actor in this movie. Okay, so before this month, never seen him before in my life, I swear to God. And then this past month, I've watched Dodgeball for the first time. I've watched a different horror movie that he starred in with like this weird lady in a basement, and then I watched this, like, all in the last month. And he stars in all of them, but I'm really bad with actor faces. So me and my roommates are watching the other horror movie with the weird basement lady. That movie's uncomfortable. Add that to this month.
I also have a movie to
Barbarian, I
add.
think it's called Barbarian. And I see this guy, and I'm like, he looks so familiar, but I don't know why. And I decide he looks like Ross from Friends, and I just chalk it up to that. But we look it up, and he's a grown-up version of the twink boy in the Dodgeball movie, like the random high schooler in Dodgeball. And then he's all grown up. And then I watched this like 2 days later, and I was like, man, this guy looks so familiar. And we look it up, and it's the same guy. And also, he voices Alvin in Alvin and the Chipmunks, which I think is so funny, because
Yeah.
I'm watching this movie of him being like turned into a walrus, and I'm just like, heh, imagine Alvin going through this.
I forgot everything I was gonna say. I also have a movie recommendation for Uncomfortable Movie Month.
What is it?
I watched Shiva Baby
I
yesterday,
don't know what that is, but I don't like the sound of it.
and it kind of gives like Mother vibes,
Mmm.
where it all takes. I love movies that are like this, where they all take place in just like one place,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just one long continuous event.
Me too.
And
We should make a movie like that.
yes, and it's about this girl who goes to a Shiva, which is like,
That's Jewish, right?
yeah, it's like a funeral after party, but
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
for
yeah.
Jewish people. And she goes there. She was at the beginning. It starts with her like fucking this guy, this like older guy. And then she goes to the party, and then the guy shows up to the party, and it's like the classic stereotypical Italian, not Italian, New Yorker, like Jewish family. Like it's a huge
Right, right, right.
gathering, and it's like the overbearing parents and everything. And she finds out that the guy she was fucking is married and just had a kid, and they're there like the entire time. And then her friend from high school, who is also her ex-girlfriend, was also there. And so she's like panicking about that, but also she's being attacked with like personal questions from like friends and family friends about like what she wants to do with life. And the guy she was fucking, she like lied to him about going to law school because I think she's like a gender studies major. And so it's just like super overwhelming and everything. And like the farther you get into the movie, it just like gets more panicky, kind of like Mother, where it's just like a full-blown panic attack at the end. And it's so stressful just watching it, and I loved it. It was amazing. 5 stars.
That sounds really good. I would like to watch that. I want to read you something I wrote down. I don't know what it means. I said, why he talk to him like it's targeted towards Binkleho, her know him, add vague like leg to him like boy.
Read that one more time.
Yeah, no problem. Why he talk to him like it's targeted towards Binkleho, her know him, add vague like leg to him like boy.
See, you lost me at Binkelholm. I don't know what that means.
I lost myself at Binkleholm. I think I know what it means. I think that what I was going for was that we know that this guy just randomly like kidnaps people and tries to turn them into a walrus, and all the previous times have failed and the person died. So if this is also another random person who happened to call him up, as the story tells us, why does what the old guy was saying, it felt so targeted towards the main character, as if he knew the bad things the main character had done, like making fun of the boy whose leg blew off, or like cheating on his girlfriend. Like, it felt, something the old man said like felt targeted, like he knew that the main character was a bad person, but he shouldn't have been able to know he was a bad person because this was just a random stranger to him. And I was like, why does it feel targeted? It shouldn't be targeted.
Well, when he called him up, wasn't he like, yeah, I want to interview for my podcast?
Do you think maybe he looked up the podcast?
Maybe.
Like, in that regard, the movie did make, like, this is what your professors are saying when they're like, the themes need to tie together, is the things that were happening to this guy relate to the bad things he did in real life. Like he like made fun of people, so his tongue got ripped out, and a boy blew off his leg, so his legs got cut off one at a time. And like, he cheated on his girlfriend, so then his girlfriend got with his best friend while he stuck as a walrus in a zoo. Like, it all connects blatantly. But at the same time, it's almost like too perfect, which is why I was pissed when your professor said that, because I was like, sometimes life is just life, and it's not like perfectly written metaphorically like a movie.
We'll talk about that later. I don't want to go on. I don't want to go on a rant right now.
Is it a good rant or a bad rant?
It's not negative. I just don't think you like to hear the things I have to say, but it's not negative.
Okay, the thing is, usually I like when movies have symbolism and like make sense, like when the things click. I really, really like it when the things click, but I don't like when they only click because it's written to click. Does that make sense? Like, I don't like when it's like too perfect, like it only works because it was written that way, and not like deep. Like, it needs to be deeper than that. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm glad you agree. Yeah, I don't know if you agree. I'm glad you understand. That's what I meant.
I just want to say I watched this movie during my psychology class.
Oh boy.
That's it.
Was that a positive experience or a negative experience?
I don't know, because I was also falling asleep.
I was really impressed that this guy was like kind of good at talking to people. Like, the main character's an asshole, but he's kind of good at talking to people. When the old man was making references, he like knew the references to like the old shit. And I was like, oh, he's kind of smart. Like, why does he know things? And then, like, when he was being like funny with his girlfriend before he find out he's cheating on his girlfriend, it was like, oh, that was kind of cute. That like the type of asshole-y, playful you be with your girlfriend. Like, I was like, oh, that's kind of silly. I don't want to like him. And then it's like, oh shit, he's cheating on his girlfriend.
Yeah.
It's weird that the main character's an asshole, but at the same time, the punishment he is experiencing is so intense that like you still feel bad for him.
Yeah.
Like, he's a horrible person, but at the same time, he is going through like torture. So it's like, it does not fit the crime. You do not deserve to be turned into a walrus for cheating on your girlfriend, even though it's bad to cheat on your girlfriend.
Yeah. The things that confuse me about this movie are at the beginning when they showed that video of the guy cutting his leg off. I thought that was like a special effect.
Me too.
Like,
Me too. Me too. Me too.
And I was like,
I wasn't
oh,
following.
okay, cool. And then I didn't understand until he like got to the funeral that he actually cut his leg off.
Me
'cause I saw the
too.
wheelchair. And I was like, oh, did he actually cut his
Yeah,
leg
that
off?
part was
What?
so bad. It looked fake, and I thought it was intentionally fake. Like, the guy made a YouTube video for, like, these podcast bros you like,
Yeah.
where he pretends to cut his leg off. And I was like, oh, cool. Like, I was not understanding, and that was really badly done on the movie's part.
Yeah. And I was really confused, and I was like, oh, so he actually did cut his leg off. What? And I'm like, why did they think that was funny? Like, that's literally not funny at
I
all.
know. And then I wrote down, our podcast would never be that mean.
No, I would never laugh at someone who cut their legs off.
We put out an official statement from Telly Productions. We would never laugh at someone whose leg actually got cut off. But if you pretend to cut off your leg with a special effect, then we will laugh at it.
No, I think I would just say, oh, yeah, cool.
Damn. I'll laugh at it.
I don't think it's funny if you accidentally cut your leg off, whether it's real or fake.
Well, if I know it's fake. If I know it's fake and someone was like, hee hee, look what I made, and it looks silly, like with a blood splatter, I'd be like, hee hee.
I guess I just don't find it funny.
Okay. Anyway, what I wish I could have done with this movie is, like, so many people have talked to me about this movie, and, like, it's called Tusk, and, like, you read a synopsis before you watch a movie. Like, basically, it's, like, really hard to go into this movie blind. Like, but imagine if you were able to go into this movie blind, not knowing it's about a guy getting turned into a walrus. I feel like the reveals that happen throughout the movie, like, the suspense would have built up more. Like, you'd be a little bit more confused, and then, like, it would have been a better payoff. Like, if it were possible to go into this blind, it would be way crazier, I think.
Yeah. I just wish it was like more everything. It's just not there. It kind of like flattened out right at the middle.
Yeah, the things I liked about it is they told the story out of order, and I like when stories are told out of order. I think it's fun.
It's out of order? I don't
Like,
think it was out of order.
you add flashbacks with the old guy, and then, like, the Johnny Depp as a French detective came in, and
That
then
was
he did.
Johnny Depp?
Yeah, isn't that crazy? Like, he's not credited for it. Like, it's really hard to figure out that it's Johnny Depp, and, like, it's like they, like, redid his face. Like, but, like, if you look into his eyes, it's Johnny Depp, but, like, you can't tell
Yeah,
it's
I would
Johnny
never
Depp.
know.
I wrote down that he was doing French face. Like, it was like he was really doing an impersonation of French people, and it was funny. Um, but, like, he did, like, a whole flashback, but then the flashback just kept going. Like, the scene just kept going and going, and I was like,
Oh
this
yeah,
is
it was really long.
this, and, like, it was so funny. I was like, this is such a nice interlude from, like, the body horror of the main film happening right now. Like, I was obsessed with Johnny Depp French face really long interlude.
I know his daughter was in the movie too.
Something that bothered me about this movie is I was treating it like it was a mystery, even though it wasn't really a mystery. Like, I was really I was, like, in the detective arc. I was trying to figure out what was happening. I don't understand why. I get that he tried with other people to, like, make his perfect victorious walrus, but what I don't understand is why he just dumped their bodies. Like, why didn't he, like, burn the bodies and, like, keep the bones in his basement or something? Like, why did he just, like, leave the bodies in random places for this detective to find? Like, that feels stupid to just dump your walrus bodies in the woods.
Well, I'm also confused because if you look at the walrus suit, it's built out of, you can see other faces like attached to
Yeah,
his
and they
body.
say when they find the other bodies that they're skinned. So I'm guessing whenever the other people die, he just skins them and keeps it for the next walrus suit. But it feels like he would just have to kill a lot of random people without trying to turn them into walruses to get their skin.
But also, when he was trying to make the walrus swim, didn't he see like other failed
Yeah.
walrus carcasses?
Yep, he did. So, like, bro has, like, killed 100 people without getting caught, I guess. Like, the amount of people he would have had to kill for this movie to make sense doesn't make sense. So this movie was, like, the concept was good, but I don't think it was executed very well.
Yeah, Kevin needs to go to a mental hospital.
I was confused why it was based on a true story. Apparently, the person who made this movie saw like a Craigslist ad about someone wanting to pay someone to be in a walrus costume, and then he wrote this movie based off of that, which was fun.
Yeah, you shouldn't have put that.
Yeah, that really threw me for a loop. My favorite part was when they were having dinner across the table, and up until this point, you think the man is like unable to walk due to his wheelchair, and all of a sudden he just gets up and walks across the room and slaps him.
That actually like
I wrote
scared me. And I was like,
that was the best part.
Was really good.
I wrote in all caps,
really
he
good.
rise. He is
that
risen.
Was really good.
I get why he left voicemails for his girlfriend and best friend, but I just, and like he's so self-centered, I guess he wouldn't think that maybe they wouldn't help him, but like I would be worried that they wouldn't help me maybe. Like instead of calling both of them, I think I would have called one of them and then called like the cops. Like why didn't he call the cops? He was like, "Girlfriend, please send the cops." Like I feel like if I was kidnapped, I would just call the cops.
It's because with the cops, you have to like stay on the phone and shit, and he didn't have time for that.
Yeah.
Also, when he woke up for the first time, he was like, I have to call my family, my family, my family, my family, my family. And I'm like, you don't
have a family.
What family? What family? Like, no mention of a family. Like, why are you saying family?
I thought the ending was crazy fucked up because they really like there's no way that being a walrus for a day fucked him up mentally so much that he really thought he was a walrus still, right? Like this was like a day. Like
no, he was probably a walrus for a good week.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I was just like, man, couldn't they have kept him somewhere nicer than like a zoo? Like that's crazy. And then they just go and are like, hey, we're dating now, bye. Like
it's not even a good zoo, it's like a fucking home zoo.
Like I get that they like want to keep him like away from people in a place that's suitable for a walrus, but it just felt like a little trashy. Like it was just like a little bit shitty. It was not like a nice environment to keep a person. And I feel like if he really did have like kind of the mind of a walrus a little bit, they just shouldn't have told him they were dating. Like, obviously it hurt him, and like they could have just not told him and it would have been fine. Like I get they feel bad, but like he's like not there anymore entirely. So like it just like it doesn't solve anything to tell him that you're dating. Like I just feel like they could have just not told him because he's a walrus.
Wait, he said that?
Who said what?
They said that they were dating?
Well, at the end, they came to him and they were like, hey, we need to get your attention. Like, they said his name and he looked at them and they kind of held hands and then he started crying. So I interpreted that as them telling him that they were dating and he was sad about it. And it was like a point that he's still human on the inside because he's able to cry.
Well, I thought he started crying because she yelled at him and then she was like, I love you.
Yeah, I interpreted that scene as them telling him that they were dating now.
I didn't see that at all.
Man, that's the only thing I saw it as. We saw this movie differently, I think. That's why I thought he was crying.
I knew they were dating, but I didn't think it was because...
That's why I thought he was crying, is like, damn, his girlfriend and best friend are dating now and he's stuck as a walrus. Like, that fucking sucks.
I just thought, like, he couldn't be with them anymore, like, all together, like, couldn't be friends.
Yeah, I just thought that, like, them holding hands and getting his attention and then walking away and then being like, don't worry, it's okay. Like, I just thought that that was the point of that reveal to him.
Oh, I didn't think that at all.
Anyway, my favorite part of this movie internally was when he went to Canada. I just started having, like, a crisis over, like, how much... Like, when he was, like, talking to the border guy, I was like, damn.
Yeah, how long he was talking to him for?
Not even that. I started zoning out and having my own crisis. So I was like, man, me being born and raised in America, like, really shapes my entire life and worldview. And, like, I wonder how differently I would experience life and see the world if I was in, like, literally any other country. And I, like... Because, like, America treats America as, like, the center of the world. But if I was just, like, in another random country, it, like... wouldn't be like that. And I was just like having a crisis over like where I was born and how that determines myself.
I was just concerned with how long he was talking to the border guy for, because he was a solid like 8 minutes, and I was like, this guy is holding up the line. And
It was
also
bad.
that scene, there was like zero background noise. It was so quiet, and it felt like they were just doing like raw audio, and I was like, what is even happening right now? This is so bad.
The part that grossed me out the most was when his like head came out of the walrus and like he just had like a bunch of necks, kind of. Like, ugh.
What?
Like there was a part like his walrus head kind of like his face came out of his walrus body and it was just like a bunch of necks. Like it looked like a penis, kind of.
Yeah, that's a walrus.
That's a walrus for you. That's all I have to say. That's all.
A walrus is essentially just a giant chode with tusks.
That and the movie is called Tusk. Do you have anything else?
Yeah. No, I think those were good last final words
I
for
agree.
me.
That was really beautiful. What
Thank
would
you.
you wait? Who was your favorite character?
I didn't have one.
I really
Oh,
liked listening to their
actually,
podcast. I liked the
I
podcast
liked
friend
Lily
because
Rose Depp.
he had the podcast friend guy had like kind of had morals a little bit. Like he was still like a dick kind of, but he was like, "Hey man, you probably shouldn't like visit the kid whose leg got blown off." And like, "Hey man, you probably shouldn't cheat on your girlfriend." Like he had morals a little bit, and he was kind of funny.
He's still a bad person because he hysterically laughed at that video.
Yes, I agree. He
And
was
also
not a good
was a
person.
part of a podcast that's named a not so good name.
I forgot about that part. Yeah, the girlfriend is my favorite character. Or Johnny Depp as a Frenchman.
I hated that character.
I thought it
It
was
made
funny.
zero sense.
Oh, 100%. It was just supposed to add a comedic tone to the otherwise horrible movie.
It was just so out of place.
It was. I concur.
I like Lily Rose Depp and her friend.
Thank you. Wait, what are you rating this movie?
Oh, one.
I give this movie 2
To what?
stars. 2 stars. 2 out of 5.
2 stars.
You give it 1 out of 5?
I give it one.
1 single apple.
1 apple.
This movie deserves 1 apple.
1 mackerel.
Thank you for coming to this very short Telly Talk episode. It's only been 30 minutes, and it's going to be edited down too. Wow. Tusk exists. Stick around for Bad Movie Month to be continued.